Hello and welcome to another day of positivity with Spirit. And so today I have Jesus with me and he wishes to talk. But I do feel that I have lots of people in the room. So it may be that somebody else steps in front of him. But before we go, I'd just like to say, you know, as always, if you do like the videos and are interested in always watching what comes forward, why don't you press the subscribe button and the bell so that you can always be notified. And so anyway, so without further ado, let's go to who is going to come forward. And Jesus is coming forward. I did feel that it was him that was in the room, and he's stepping forward and he's saying to me, he says, my life as Jesus was a complicated life. Because although I did some great work and I brought people to the understanding of what they needed to do in order to be with God and be close to God, and I talked so much about the heaven and what people would expect when they arrived. But he feels now that his role is different. And his role with me is completely different, he says. He says now he wants people to understand that it's not just about the forgiveness of your sins or how beautiful heaven is. He says he feels it's more than that. He feels it's about creating a spiritual path that people naturally feel comfortable upon, that they wish to enjoy a life that is close to himself and to God and to Mother Mary and to many of the saints. Because he says that we are coming forward in a different way. We are wanting to come forward and show you that our world exists. But in order to do that, it means that my path, he says, is very, very different. My path is simply put going to aid you on the path that you need to be on in order to be close to God. And that's my role with Gail. But now, before all of that happens, he says that he has been pondering over what he would say in more detail on this video, and he feels that the first thing that he needs to talk about is that how he has lived a life in heaven with his Father, and what it has meant to him to be there despite the difficulties that are going on in the earth plane. And he says when he eventually arrived back and was greeted by God, he says that he knew that his life was now to take a different path, because he wouldn't be on doing the job that he had been requested to do in spirit. So now it was going to be very different. And at first, he says, I was quite eager to be there. I was quite eager to think about my life and want to help in any way from heaven. But he said, after a while, I realised that I still had more work to do on the earth plane, and that the earth plane still needed to hear from me. And despite my he's talking about being anonymous, and I can't say the word anonymity. Oh dear. Despite being anonymous, he says that he took several lives on the earth plane, and in those lives he was unknown to people for the soul that he really was. And he always took a life where he could show mankind a different way of being and help mankind in a way that others weren't prepared to do. And he says that if you look at some of the people in your land that has done some good things, think about it. It possibly could have been myself, he says. For I have done several times over, he says, that I have done some great things and organised myself in a way that always helped mankind. Now that he is in heaven finally with God, he has made the decision that this is the last time he will not be entering into our world again, and that he feels that it is important that he stays there, because he feels that he can do work through people like myself and other mediums and enable the work that needs to be done, rather than take on a life himself. He has spoken with Mother Mary at great length, and she agrees with him that this is the right way for him now, that he needs to stay in heaven and do the work from heaven. And this is why he has chosen to stay there rather than come and do this work that God has requested from Gail. He's saying that in his lifetime as Jesus, as you know, it was quite treacherous and difficult, and it wasn't always easy. And he feels that there will be times when Gail doesn't have it easy either. And he's made a promise to God and to Gail that he will help Gail wherever he can. He will show her the light. He will show her the protection that is available for her. It is my wish that I guide her very, very carefully, so that she always is protected from our world. But not only that, God has enlisted the angelic realm too. And Archangel Michael has come forward in order to help Gail at all times. Now, as we move forward in time and in your year, that you will reach a point where certain things will take place, and these certain things that will take place will help people realize that there is a God, and that I do exist, and that mankind needs to turn their head towards a spiritual belief and a spiritual understanding, which includes God and myself. These are being planned as we speak and will be taking place towards the end of the year. It is my wish that I will be able to come through in these video talks and give warning of what is about to happen. And these warnings will come forward at several points, not only through Gail, but through other mediums too. And I look forward to how people react to what we have planned. For this world has to change. This world needs to be different. And this is our plan. And we have thought of everything in order to achieve this. As I bow my head and I put my hands together, my dear Father, help me as always to do the work that you have enlisted me to do. Give me the strength to help Gail at all times and show mankind that there is a path that they must be on, that our world is ever present and will always be at the beck and call of all. I ask at all times that the understanding of our world and the understanding of what we all achieved in those times can be shared amongst many people, and that many people come to the understanding that we are true and we are real and we live in heaven and wish to be with you at all times. And I thank you. Amen. And so, that's quite a revelation, isn't it, that he's coming forward with. So I'm interested to know what's going to happen towards the end of the year. We'll just have to wait and see, won't we? But quite exciting. Anyway, thank you for listening, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye.